Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu Allah. Peace, God. Peace to the family. Imhotep. I'm your brother in the struggle, Brother Minister Ali. And today, I would like to, let me just turn this phone off so it won't be disturbed. Today, I would like to briefly cover some of the divine book by Messenger Elijah Muhammad, The Message to the Black Man. I say the holy message to the black man in America, published in 1965. If you never read this book, read it. If you read this book before, make sure you read it again. If you read it 10 times, make sure you read it 100, 1,000, 10,000, a million, a trillion times in your lifetime. Inshallah, Sakin. It's that important. And I've been reading this book and studying this book for like 40 years. And every time I read it, you always learn something new, because the wisdom is infinite that's in the book. You grow with the book, okay? So even though you know something, that don't mean that you have wisdom of it. And even though you can recite it, like a lot of this stuff I know like lessons, I could literally quote different parts of the Messenger books like lessons. But that don't mean that I understand it. You know what I mean? And even when you understand it, you can go through things in life, or you can literally turn on that Cyclops, that one-eyed monster, the television, or turn on your laptop or your phone or what have you, and you can actually experience that which Messenger Elijah Muhammad wrote 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, whatever years ago. Now, I mean, you literally bear witness to the department of supreme wisdom by Master Fard Muhammad and his messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Today, I just want to touch on, very briefly, the subject of Yaqub's Law. And I would like to cover it in the context that a lot of us are what our comrade George Jackson adequately described as, we're reactionary revolutionaries. What I mean by that is, say something happened in social media. Say a rapper got killed. Kanye West, Ye said something. President Trump, former Trump, did something. We react to that. I mean, whatever the 10% or the slave masters say and do, we say and do. Now, I mean, we like talking about problems. Now, I mean, because we don't want to deal with real solutions. Now, I mean, and when it comes to the raw teachers of Elijah Muhammad, you can't teach them. I cannot teach you the raw teachers of Elijah Muhammad on social media. They would take this page completely down. I had 400 videos on here years ago. They took them down. Now, I mean, I had the white cars with the tinted windows coming after me. Now, I mean, the only reason I'm physically alive is because I had my black bag with me. I had the Adidas glove and the Adidas bag and my ski mask with me. And, now, I mean, Master Fard Muhammad taught me to be militant-minded. Now, I mean, and I smile, so that your enemy can underestimate you. And your naive 85% mentally dead black people will doubt you. Now, I mean, so I've seen these devils in reality countless times. But I never worry about that, because what I worry about is what I have to do with these devils. I mean, it's like when you're dealing with science, like the 24 scientists, when you're dealing with the angels of Allah. Now, I mean, the Bible teaches us the thoughts of God is not like the thoughts of men. Now, I mean, the 5% are not like the 85% or the 10%. It shouldn't be anyway. Now, I mean, so I just want y'all to know I'm still here. I'm going to continue to be here. Now, I mean, and it's because of the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This thing is real. These teachings is real. These movements is real. Now, I mean, even though you may not agree or understand it, now, I mean, I want you to know that Master Fard Muhammad, to whom all praises are due forever, is real. I don't say, pardon me, let me adjust this. I don't say real in the sense of I'm expecting Master Muhammad to come down from the mother plane and save me. I'm waiting on the messenger to come back and do something for me. They already gave us knowledge of self. We just have to put on the whole armor of God. We just have to act in accord with the time. Now, I mean, there are countless so-called problems on earth that the black men on the earth can easily solve. They just ain't ready to solve them yet. They're not ready for the war Armageddon. Sad to say. You know what I mean? I'm talking, just black men in general. We will go to war with each other all day long. But when it comes to us getting freedom, justice, and equality, we really ain't trying to do that. We talk like we is, but we really not trying to do that. What we really trying to do is get some more of the white man's money. When you see black men all around the world, really what we trying to do is improve our lot. Trying to pay the bills, get a better house, a better car, better suit, more money. You know what I mean? We think that is the solution to our problem. Education, voting, getting more money, better credit, things of that nature there. But when it comes to the devil and this system of white world supremacy, it's worldwide. You can run to Australia, you can run back to Africa. You know what I mean? In the past, our grandparents was getting hundreds, then they, start getting thousands, then hundreds of thousands, start getting millions. Now some of our people getting billions. It doesn't mean anything in the universal order of things, the universal scheme of things, because the devil is the devil regardless of place or time, and you cannot reform the devil. A lot of people think you can, but you can't. You know what I mean? At the same time, there's another problem we have. A lot of us think all of the devils are active as devils by nature. There are white people, as the messenger said in Our Sayers arrived in 1974. There are a few white Muslims who are Muslims by faith. Now, I mean, you have sincere white people that are trying to fight against oppression and tyranny, trying to make amends for the legacy of slavery in the past. They sincere about freedom, justice. You guys. I know personally. I know some white boys that's soldiers for real. I know some white boys that I could put on speed dial that will come down to my house right now and ask no questions. They coming in. Know what I mean? If I send them, they coming. Know what I mean? And at the same time, you have brothers that if I called them with some real work, it's like, okay, look, we gotta put this work in. The first thing they're going to do is do everything in their power to talk me out of it. They just simply not ready. Now, I mean, so we got to understand that dichotomy where you have gods by nature that's not ready to put on their crowns, and you have devils by nature that already put their wings on. Now, I mean, so what do you do with that? Master Muhammad was wise. He said, okay, we ain't with the integration stuff. Now, I mean, you can't reform a devil. But Solomon had devils that used to die for him. Now, I mean, so if they could go deep for us, if they can help out, let them help out in that area. Now, I mean, let them have peace of mind and contentment, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life on earth while they live in their own hereafter, their own heaven on earth while they physically live. That's their reward for bowing down and submitting to the universal will of Master Muhammad, to whom all praises due forever. And as far as those blacks that became 10% rich slave makers of the poor, now I mean, they go down with the rest of the devils. All right, they in the way. So we're in a war of Armageddon, but it's a war of attrition. It's a cold war at this time. It's a war of words, a war of symbols, a war of signs, a war of rituals. And I mean, a war of economics, a war of likes, a war of dislikes, a war of subscribers, a war of going viral, you know what I mean, and things of that nature there. That's all controlled by the white man. White women don't really have no power. Black people don't have no power. Those black people you hear got some money, Every last piece. The pennies they got white people pictures on it. The dollars, the $100 bills, got white people pictures on it. The new car they driving, they need the white man's license. The roads they drive, those are the white man's streets. You watching this here, those with channels, YouTubes, Instagrams, they agree to the white man terms and conditions. It's the white man's electrical energy that's powering this. It's the white man's Wi-Fi. It's the white man's satellites outside of this planet. It's over 20 satellites floating around in space. Not one is by a black, brown, yellow, red man. They all from the white man. The permission, the communication, the signals through your radio. Black radio is controlled by white people. Your home, your mortgage, your water bill, your electric bill is controlled by white people. When you buy land from white people. You get the permit, you get the license, you get the deed with the white man's seal and signature on it. That's not real freedom, justice, and equality. Real freedom, justice, and equality, you take it. You declare it. That's real freedom, justice, and equality. You be like, this is ours. So it's real simple for the God. Masfar Muhammad thing is the earth belongs to the original man. Period. Game over. That's it. I mean, it's ours. The sun is ours. The moon, the stars, the whole universe covering 230 quintillion, 640 quadrillion miles is ours. You would wonder, well, if the black man is God and they built pyramids and this, that, and the other, it's no magical black man. The black man is not the real Santa Claus. He's not, you can't put up a black picture of Jesus Christ. We don't have no pictures of Jesus. That's a fake Jesus Christ. The black Jesus is fake. The white Jesus is fake. The Bible that you have is full of spookism. The Quran you have is full of spookism. The original ones is originally from us. It's nothing but our thoughts, our actions, our deeds, our good, our bad, our indifference. It's the memories and culture and writings of black men and women all over the planet Earth. And when we say black men and women, that includes brown, yellow, red. Okay? So it's nothing spooky whatsoever. And sad to say, at this junction of our struggle and at this level of our consciousness, most people just simply are not ready for this. But we're planting them seeds now because we know that in the future, they're going to catch on to the spirit of wisdom. And they're going to manifest the will of Allah on earth. So let me read something from Messenger Elijah Muhammad. And the purpose of this is so we can understand like dichotomies. Like say in America, you got say so-called Crips and Bloods. You got say in Africa, you got the Tutsis versus the Hutus and things of that nature. You have in Nigeria, the people in the north, the Muslims versus Christians. Now I mean, you got Democrats versus Republicans. Now I mean, all of that kind of stuff, the white man controls. If the Crips say that we got the blue rag and the Bloods say we got the red, none of them have a flag factory. The blue rags is made by the white man, the red man. If a black man killed me today with a Glock 40, a 9mm, AR-15, a AK-47, a 22, a cold knife, blacks don't produce those weapons. The white man does. Now I mean, he controls those poppy fields, those submarines, those ships, those weapons, those needles, Kensington and Allegheny. You see the young boys down there hustling. They don't run that. The white man run the drug game. The white man run hip hop. Not white women. Not black men. White men run hip hop. Period. White men run the internet. Period. What we have to understand is the game, how they really doing this with this law of divide and conquer. It goes back beyond the beef between Hebrews and the Afrocentric community, the Muslims and the Christians, the Sunnis and the Nation of Islam, and the dark skin from the light skin, the men from the women, all that kind of stuff is part of white world supremacy. Now, I mean, the messenger gave it to us. He's not the only one. We have brothers and we have Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She understood it. She gave it to us for years. Dr. Ben gave it to us for years. Sheikh Anta Diop traveled all over the world and showed and proved it. Know what I mean? But we psychologically are not ready for liberation. Know what I mean? We had people like the Panthers that was sincere. And that thing was like, okay, I'm willing to live, build, kill, and die for our people. And some of them stood up and organized, and they led by that example. Nat Turner led by, but the military stratagem and strategy of that mythology didn't work for them, and it's not going to work for us. You know what I mean? Because too many of our people are still 85%. The masses of the people are mentally dead. So when they put up $1 million reward for information on this, $200 million reward on this. You think them Sunni Muslims wasn't snitching on Osama bin Laden and them? You think them snitches ain't gonna snitch on the Sunnis? You think them snitches ain't gonna snitch on the fruit? Now, I mean, you know how many of our people were sold out over history with that type of thinking that the ranks is tight. You know what I mean? Like, we're all for one, and you would love to have it like that. But at the same time, you can't have a house of confusion, of bitter, of chaos. You need that ma'at. You know what I mean? You need someone to oversee that in a balanced way. You know what I mean? To keep the peace, to make order out of the disorder. You know what I mean? To bring about the ease after the dis-ease. You know what I mean? And that is realistic. That is practical. That is what the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey was doing. That is what the Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali was doing. That is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was doing. That is what all these different leaders that you may agree with or disagree with. Now, I mean, I don't think there's any leader that I agree with 100%. But that don't mean that we can't love them 100%. That don't mean we can't support them. That don't mean that we can't learn from them. Now, I mean, that don't mean that we can't modify that mathematics, you know what I mean, and utilize them in our daily lives on a small scale. I don't care if you're going to school, if you're working for the white man, if you're working for yourself, if you're uniting with your wife, if you're uniting with your son, your daughter, or uniting with your homie, uniting in the community, if you're selling Muhammad Speaks or Final Calls. We're about the struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. Now, I mean, but the reason we're so slack in our duties because we're missing valuable gems that the ancestors taught us that we need to reflect on. And I want you to reflect on this jewel from Message to the Black Man. This is from the chapter on the making of the devil, page 116. I'd just like to give you a brief summary so you can just, this social media stuff. We're not into like too deep teachings. I don't want to go over your head with stuff. Know what I mean? I don't want to drag it out for 3-4 hours and all that stuff like that there. Know what I mean? I just give you a little jewel, look like taking a daily vitamin, if you will. You know what I mean? Make sure you just come on and just get the information and use the information. That's one of the things that I agree with our beloved brother Sanetta about. His thing is like, look, let's just get the people the information. Yeah, we differ on all kind of levels. I ain't into debating and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are people in different philosophies that study their philosophies in depth. They might have studied their philosophies better than I study my philosophy. You know what I mean? So if we was to debate, they could beat me in a debate. That doesn't mean that we're not on the same team. I mean, it's like we don't go out talking about I lost or I won and he lost and or she lost and she won. It's like if we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. Now, I mean, we want the oppressed to win. It's us against the oppressors. We don't care what uniform they wear. We don't care if they calling themselves Christians, atheists, Muslim, whatever. Know what I mean? We don't care if they black, Indian, Chinese, Puerto Rican, Latino, Boricuan, whatever. If they conscious and they in the struggle for freedom, justice, and equality, we're obligated to support them. We're obligated to learn from them. We're obligated to share that wisdom with those that don't know. Because somebody needs that. Know what I mean? And one of the things we can't overlook is, I was listening today to an old deep tape from Muhammad Ali. I think it was 1968. And the white man actually was right and Ali was wrong. Ali was saying, yeah, the Bible say that the white man is the devil. And he was like, the Bible? Where? He's like, let me go get my Bible. He said, go get your Bible. He said, what you talking about? He said, over here in Romans it says this. And he's like, all right, I heard what you said, but how did you come out of that just saying that all the white people was just devils? I mean, his argument basically was, when it said in the Bible that all of the Gentiles and all of the non-Jew, which means non-Jew, are sinners, that it was talking about only white people. You know what I mean? And he was sincere, and I understood where he was coming from and what he was trying to convey. But what he was saying would have been perfect if he was at temple service. It would have been perfect if he was talking to FOIs and MGTs, but he's talking on national television to a white man who doesn't believe as he believes, who's not wearing his uniform. He's not an FOI. He don't believe in Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He don't believe that Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. He don't believe in Master Muhammad. He don't believe in the theocracy of the Nation of Islam. So you have to know how to speak different languages politically. I mean, you have to put it in the language that he understands. Now, I mean, but Ali thing was basically, he was trying to say that all the whites was oppressing us worldwide for the longest, ever since we know, which is absolutely true. But what the white man was trying to tell him was like, yeah, but what about those few sincere ones that know that they, as a collective, was doing wrong, but now they want to try to do right? What do they do? What position for them? Now, I mean, and Malcolm, in his argument, when they asked Malcolm about it, he's like, what can a sincere, the girl was like, I'm a sincere white person. I know that we oppress your people, but I want to help. What can I do? He looked at it and was like, nothing. That is not the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's where the confusion comes in at. Now, I mean, the messenger didn't teach us hate. Now, I mean, the messenger didn't teach us to love the devil. He taught us the devil is the devil regardless of place or time. But he also explained to us that a few white people are Muslims by faith, though not by nature. He taught us that Master Fard Muhammad's mother was a white Jew that his father cleaned up and made righteous. She was a Master Fard Muhammad's mom. He didn't run, Mom, you're a devil. You know what I mean? No, it's like, he's like, we don't believe in integration for political reasons, but Master Fard Muhammad's father got a white woman pregnant and gave birth to the savior of the whole nation of Islam. So it doesn't add up. It's not Islam. It's not mathematics when we ignore all of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and take excerpts of it and use it as a platform and run with that. You got to give them the balance. Now, I mean, it's like, you're like, yeah, you know what I mean, before the white man, black people was holy and we was righteous, and, you know what I mean, the devil's nature came in the last 6,000 years. If a white person reading it, be like, wait a minute. It says right here, Elijah Muhammad said that before the white man, Yaqub and the black doctors, the black nurses, the black cremator, y'all was killing people. What is y'all talking about? Before y'all was at war. Y'all had 66 trillion years ago a black man trying to kill everybody on the earth. He blew up part of the earth. He made the moon. He killed the whole tribe of Shabazz. It was 13 tribes of Shabazz, according to Elijah Muhammad's book, The Supreme Wisdom, Volume 1 and 2 in 1957. He said we now only got 12 because a black man killed everybody. There was no white people around. So how can we teach that and at the same time teach this modern day watered down version of Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachings? We have to get back to basics. Teach the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad the way he taught it. Alright? Because then you'll understand the politics of it, the importance, it becomes timeless. It becomes relevant. Now, I mean, you know, our black tribalism has always been more of a problem for us than our struggle against white racism. White racism is just a 6,000-year-old struggle. Now, I mean, people look at it like, oh, before 6,000 years ago, we was all vegetarians and we was just a righteous, holy people. We were just a nation of holy, righteous, pure gods and goddesses living in heaven. Huh? 6,000, 7,000 years ago? For real? You really believe that? Is that what you're getting from your lesson? That's what you got from Lost Van Miles lesson number 2? That's what you got out of Message to the Black Man in America? That's not the teachings of Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Where you get that spoon? That come from the misinterpretations, the misunderstandings of different ministers, captains, secretaries teaching you instead of you studying and learning and getting the teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad firsthand. You have to look at what the messenger teaches us, okay? The messenger teaches us. They actually said, Mr. Muhammad, do you teach hate? He was like, no. He's like, what do you teach? Truth. And I mean, he said, now if they hate the truth, I mean, I'm not teaching hatred. They just hate the truth that I teach. There's a difference there. Now, I mean, that's a valid and logical argument. That's what the Holy Quran calls arguing in the best of manners. Now, I mean, you'd be like, Mr. Muhammad, was black people living 100% righteous before white people? No. He's like, that's not what he's saying. That's not what he taught us. Now, I mean, it's like his teachers is we always had that brown germ in us. We always had that dominant recessive gene in us. The devil was in us, just that Yaqub brought it out of us. Yaqub didn't go to another planet. Now, I mean, Yaqub took that white man out of the black man and the black woman. That devil was in God. Hell came out of our heaven. God is the best knower. God knows all things. God exists all over the place. God is omnipotent. God is all powerful. So you can't have it on one hand that you're God and at the same time be mad at the devil for being the devil. You made him the devil. Remember the 24 scientists, they wrote history in advance. Before Yaqub was born, they said one going to be born, the big head scientist. I mean, you know, and you know, that's the practical part of this. It makes you understand the world in which we live better. Now, I mean, it's nothing personal, it's business, as they say. Now, I mean, so our struggle. Now, I mean, we was in 13 tribes. Now, I mean, long before the European colonizers got into Africa, we was divided up to all these different African tribes. The people in Nigeria, like, man, we don't talk to them people in Egypt. We ain't trying to be like the people of Ghana. I mean, the people of Ghana, like, man, we not trying to be like the people of Nubia or the Sudan. The people of Sudan, like, man, we murdered them people in Kemet in Egypt. We see what we kill them. Now, I mean, the people in Kush in Ethiopia are like, oh, we don't mess with the people in Azania or South Africa. Now, I mean, they was already divided up spiritually.